Now, as we're still in the middle of this pandemic, New Zealand has been seen as being the kind of gold standard of pandemic mitigation. I'm guessing you must be quite pleased with the way your government has handled things.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter where you stand politically; they've done a pretty amazing job,
Yeah.
and I don't think anyone can argue that. I think it's pretty tough, at the start. No one really knew anywhere what was going to happen, so you're sort of taking a punt. You're going to land on one side of the corner or the other, and we decided to lock down. And I think, looking at the moment, it was the right thing to do.
Where are you at right
You
now?
got to. At the moment, we're borders are shut and we're business as usual. All
Right.
restaurants are opening, no
Great.
restrictions. There's no people are free to move about the country and fly on planes, and so it's no different to what we were used to in January. The only difference is we have to wear masks on public transport, and but that's that it's almost strange. You get looked at funny if you're not wearing one, and
Yes.
then 6 months ago it was the other way around. So I think people just buy into it and they know what they have to do. But it's much easier to mobilize a population of 4 million people than it is, 55 million,
Yeah.
or how many's in Canada? 30 odd million in Canada. So that's, I guess, probably an advantage for us as being a smaller country and at the bottom of the world, surrounded by quite a large
Yeah.
moat. It,
Yeah. Yeah.
it definitely
Exactly.
helps.
Yeah. No, it must be. I'm rather envious of the fact that your restaurants are open and you're basically living a kind of normal life now, because it's going in quite the opposite direction here. We've just had another big lockdown in Toronto, so all the restaurants are closed again, and we're not quite sure where all that is going right now. I have to ask you, did you see an impact upon your sales during the pandemic, both domestic and export?
Absolutely. I mean, when we locked down, Dog Point, I mean, we're predominantly, there's a few exceptions to the rule, but, if you just take New Zealand, all our sort of wine is sold through the on-trade,
Yeah.
hospitality. So 70% goes through that part. So overnight that disappeared, and I'd say we're probably on average about 50% down
Well,
for
that's
those two
very high.
months. So that's a significant hit for a family business like ourselves.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I mean, we definitely felt it. It was, but I think we've just had to be a little bit more. It looks a lot different to what we're used to at the moment, and obviously people. I think what was quite pleasing is people when they're at home, they if they're buying online or they're just going into retail and just consuming a bottle of wine with dinner at home or
Mhm.
with friends or whatever those rules and restrictions allow, they tend to gravitate towards stuff that they know and they enjoy and um, I guess understand. Whereas often in a restaurant there's a bartender or sommelier or
Yeah,
someone
of
that's
course. Yeah.
saying try this or try that, which is great as well. But when you take that away, it's up to the individual to make those decisions. And I think what we're seeing is people were gravitating towards things they know and trust and enjoy. And I think during this, particularly Sauvignon Blanc has done particularly well because it's
Yeah.
such an approachable variety. And I think talking to friends and colleagues throughout the region is they've been really surprised and happy with the response and the demand for particularly Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc through the pandemic.
I've been speaking with a few friends in the more kind of boutique winery side of things in New Zealand, and they've been expressing some concern about the lack of tourism. This all domestic tourism that we'll have right now, and being increasingly worried about the lack of international tourism, where they would quite easily be able to sell, their $60 bottle of Pinot or something like that, just for example. Um, do you see any of that going on?
Uh, Absolutely. I mean, for us, we export 85% of what we do to
85%,
about
right? Okay.
47. Yeah. So, and you're talking small amounts. I mean, you might have 30 cases going to Guam or something like that,
Right.
but it's about having the spread. So we've been lucky in that regard to be able to have that support globally for what we do, which is amazing. Tourism, I mean, I just feel so sorry for them. I mean, they've just had it really tough, and the domestic market I think, has been pretty good in supporting that. But again, it's fits and starts. Like it's, with school holidays, it gets incredibly busy, and then it goes a little bit quieter again, and then it just takes Auckland or an outbreak in the biggest population, which is probably 1.5 million people in Auckland. And then that population not moving through the country has a huge effect for tourism as well. So look, I think it's we've definitely seen it. It feels like we're going back 20 years, to be honest, on a tourism front. And you're seeing a lot. It's just quite bizarre when you're going through somewhere like Queenstown, and then it's all Kiwis, and it's and you just haven't seen it. I mean, it's something nice about it, but I think it sort of feels like the old days where we just don't have that sort of real mixer of cultural or different culture, and it's a shame, really. But I hope 2021 brings a bit more sort of hope, and particularly for hospitality and tourism. I mean, far out. If anyone deserves a break, it's those guys.
Yeah, for sure. I've just realized for the first time in my 49 years, I have haircut envy, because you've been going to a hairdresser to get your hair cut, I'm pretty sure. And I was just looking at the state of my hair.
Me?
That's when I cut it myself. Look, it's awful. It's terrible.
No, mine's I use a friend, and she cuts it, and it costs me $27. So it's and that was a few. Actually, it's probably I'm just probably straight out of bed here, but there's a mild nor'wester going, so it's probably got a bit of that swoosh thing going on. But I'm not trying to underplay my age a little bit, maybe.
So to end this on an up note, an upbeat, what is the best thing that you learned about yourself or your life throughout the pandemic thus far?
Oh, that's a really good question. Look, from my personal perspective, because we're an exporting nation, I guess, and we're on the road a lot. So, and we don't do the wine competition thing, and it's not because we're against it. We just decided from the start that that's not something we were going to do, and so we spent a lot of time working with our distributors and meeting people, and that does take its toll on family as well, being away. And I've got 2 little kids, and I have to admit, I haven't missed airplanes or airports or hotels or any of that, and just playing around, and just coaching my son's little Ripper rugby team, and they're pretty special little things that you actually miss out on. I think it's probably a bit of a reality check, to be honest, about what's important and what's not. I mean, don't get me wrong, we need to keep the home fires burning, and we need to work hard, and we constantly do that, but it's finding a right balance. So for me, I've really enjoyed actually just being at home and just probably exploring New Zealand a bit more, because we're our own country, we're really, really fortunate, and sometimes you just take that a bit for granted. So I think that's been really nice. And also particularly through that pandemic, was the support and the drive, and I guess the commitment from all our staff. I mean, they stood what was at stake, and they just, they worked as if it was their own business, and you can't ask for anything more than that. They're so committed, and it's pretty special to have people working for you that carry that, carry that emotion, but also carry that sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess integrity and get behind what you're doing. So it's hard to find good people sometimes, and we're really lucky we've got a team here that they're just all aboard, and there was no questions. They knew what they had to do, and they just got it done. So we're very thankful for that, and their families as well, because it was a commitment from everyone for us to be able to keep doing what we're doing. And so it was that was really pleasing to see.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining Good Food Revolution today. I know that you're normally traveling all over the world, but when they open up the airports once again, we'll hopefully see you over in Canada, in Ontario, sometime soon.
Well, I love Canada, and I've got lots of friends in Ontario actually. So I did a student exchange there when I was 16 years old, and I was
Oh,
at
wow.
Lake.
Okay.
I went to Lakefield College.
Yes, yeah.
So for about 4 months. So I've got plenty of friends in Toronto. So look, I'm looking forward to. Whilst I enjoy being at home, I am looking forward to getting into the big cities, and you know, and it'd be nice to sit in a restaurant and actually maybe reflect on what's going on and catch up with friends in Canada again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope everyone over there stays safe, and hopefully 2021 brings a brighter, brighter moments to our lives.
Well, 2020 couldn't really get any worse. So roll on.
That's right. So let's just look forward. Let's not look back.
Thank you so much. We'll catch up sometime soon, I hope. Bye for now.
Fantastic. Great. Thanks for having me.